Welcome back to the Church of Atheism podcast. Travis and Chris are back with you today. How's it going, Chris?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing?
Not too shabby. I think we have a fun lineup today. I think we're going to be talking about Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Wow.
And we'll probably move over to a strange man, Michael Savage. We'll probably get to him as well.
He is an odd fella. But yeah, I was listening to InfoWars, just a little bit like, oh my god, that guy's batshit crazy, is he not?
I don't even think he's a normal, I'm not sure if he's human.
Yeah,
he's missing something upstairs.
yeah, that's for sure. But I was thinking of bringing that up because I was reading this little article about how Alex Jones, I think it was over, someone was suing him for libel or some shit, but he recently had to admit that his show is just that, he's just doing a character. So all the crazy shit he said over the last couple decades, he just totally backtracked on it. And the best part is that I don't think that's affecting his ratings one bit, because his fans are equally nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his lawyer came out and said that he's just doing a character and nothing he says is real. And then I watched another video a week later saying it's the MSN, the mainstream news media, that's saying all this stupid shit. It's no, dumbass, it's your lawyer. Your lawyer said this.
Yeah, okay. Because I was that's funny. So his lawyer said that, and then Alex Jones admitted that, or he said that wasn't true. Is that the situation? Yeah. That's confusing.
Yeah, he had to say it in court so he could get, the case, dismissed or whatever. Or that was his argument, that it's just a character he plays for entertainment. And then a week later he came out and said, no, the media is lying to you, I never said that. It's no, you didn't personally, but your lawyer did on your behalf.
Yeah, your lawyer, who's probably a bit smarter than you.
No. His lawyer doesn't know any of the cover-ups Alex Jones does.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, and then because he was on what's her bucket, Megyn Kelly's show the other day, and that was they had a back and forth afterwards about just attacking him and whatnot. I think, because the big point is that what really pissed me off, why I wanted to bring him up, is because he's one of those Sandy Hook deniers. Sandy Hook, of course, that school shooting that happened a couple of years ago. That was on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut,
just
okay.
North of here. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just I was watching some interview with him, and he was talking about how Sandy Hook didn't happen, or it was a cover-up, and it just made me furious. How much of a shitty monster of a person do you have to be to
Well, it's so disrespectful for the parents of the victims.
Yeah.
Obviously the kids as well, but the parents of those kids have to go through this dumbass.
Yeah, could you imagine because those kids were in kindergarten, if I'm not mistaken, and
yeah,
could you imagine? Yeah, could you just imagine how awful that would be? Your kindergarten kid gets gunned down at school, and then you got some fat fuck talking about how, no, that never happened.
False flag.
Yeah, false flag, yeah. It made me just...
Kidding me?
Yeah. And, that is just one thing I don't understand. How do you benefit from denying stuff like this? I don't understand how that benefits you. How's that improving your life by saying that Sandy Hook never happened, or just
I think his lawyer was right in that he is just a character.
Yeah.
Just an entertainer, and people eat it up like it's real news. And I think he gets, when he says stupid, outlandish, ridiculous shit, like the Sandy Hook thing, people either love it or hate it, but they still want to watch. They want to see the freak show.
That's true. That's why I was watching it.
Right, so it's win-win for him.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. And like, the people really genuinely take that as truth too. Like, it's not a news show, but yeah, the people really just.
I was working in retail, and I was talking with some nut job about politics or whatever. And of course, I have to be professional. I can't like actually say my own opinion.
Oh,
So
I
I was
know,
just
that's
kind of
the
like,
worst.
yeah, I would just always nod and just agree with them, and hopefully they take the hint that I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's like, brother, you got to check out Infowars. It's the only real news.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Somehow I stayed professional and didn't just go ape shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, are you serious?
Oh man, that's
I
upsetting.
kept my cool.
Yeah, that is upsetting that people really do believe. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, like, conspiracy people. It's just like, I think what it is really is that when they believe this, they think they have some sort of insight and some sort of knowledge, and the rest of us are just sheep or sheeple. It's just like, they think that they got this special knowledge or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's
Right,
what they
and
get
like,
from it.
look how awesome I am for knowing something you don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and like, they think they're more, I guess, perceptive. They think that the rest of us are just getting tricked and they're not, and I think that's really what it has to do with it. It's just strange.
Alex Jones thinks he's woke.
Oh boy, I bet.
Like, conspiracy theories are always interesting to me, but when it comes to stuff that he says, like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, how could you possibly believe half the shit that comes out of his mouth?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so ridiculous, and like...
And there's some things, in my opinion, there's some conspiracy theories we'll never know the answer to. Like, the JFK, I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
But to act like you know with pure certainty how this happened and how that happened. Like, I have opinions about things, or I have, like, it's a possibility X could have happened, or it's possible Y could have happened. But when he acts so sure of everything, to me, like, that diminishes everything he's saying.
Yeah, yeah. Like, he's unwilling to accept that he could be wrong, or maybe there's parts of it that don't add up.
Right, everything he says, this is how it is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He doesn't ever speak with it's a possibility. It's always a sure thing with him.
Yeah, it really bugs me. I was one of the episodes listening to part of was he was going on about how the moon landing was faked. It's like, give me a fucking break here. The moon landing is fake. That is one of the most annoying ones. My God.
Did you hear his latest one about there's like a pedophile ring on the dark side of the moon or some shit he was saying? I can't remember what the hell it was now. Oh, there's military bases on the moon of Mars.
Oh.
You know.
That's the plot of the game Doom. I don't know if you played that when you were younger, but yeah, there's like bases on Mars.
Yeah.
Like, now they're not even getting original. They're just going to video games and taking plots. I would love it if Alex Jones started saying that in Japan there's mushrooms, and if you eat them you get real big, or you get an extra life.
And you can run on the backs of dinosaurs?
Yeah, yeah. Or like, did you hear about that gorilla that kidnapped a princess and then he was throwing barrels at a plumber?
It's like, and all you have to do is jump down tubes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go to some other faraway land.
Oh, man. And then, I don't know if you've ever gotten into, like, an argument or debate with conspiracy people, but, like, it's just so funny. They do not budge or listen to reason. And, like...
No.
And, like, sometimes... Because I know a lot of smart people that believe some dumb shit. And, like, that's the thing. Is that, like, smart people can be pretty good at rationalizing and making sense out of dumb ideas.
I don't know. I think it kind of goes back to what we said earlier. Just people want to have they want to one up you.
And
Like, oh, you think
yeah,
that's cool? Check out this conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and like, yeah, that's like I don't know, like that's kind of the interesting thing is that like once you start believing in conspiracy theories, then you really like people really do just believe them all. It's kind of weird. Like if you decide you're going to believe in aliens, well, now you got to believe that the moon landing was fake and that 9/11 was an inside job, which I doubt that.
The Earth is flat.
Oh.
That's my favorite one. Flat Earthers. We're going to have to do a whole episode on Flat Earthers.
Oh my God, yeah, because that is insanely idiotic.
I've seen so many of their... I mean, it's just entertainment for me. I'll watch their Flat Earth YouTube videos, and it's just fucking hysterical. Somebody went through the whole production of putting this video together, and it was just pure nonsense.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Like, there is some very basic science that pretty much shoots that down right away. Like, it's so insane and dumb.
Really basic.
Yeah. I was reading an article, and they're asking an actual scientist, like they're having him talk about the flat Earth thing, and it was really funny. Like you could tell that he was just annoyed right away, but he was saying that if the Earth
you just see
flat,
it on his face.
Yeah. Like he's saying, like if the Earth was flat, what would happen is that within a matter of minutes, it would turn into a sphere again because of fucking gravity. Like that's how it works.
But I don't know. Well, I'll have to do more research when we do the actual episode. But I think someone tried to argue gravity's not real either. I think I saw that once too.
I don't know. I dropped a penny on the floor, so gravity seems pretty real today. But hell, what do I know?
You're not a scientist.
Yeah, that is true.
Terrible YouTube videos.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, another one that kind of bugs me is the 9/11 was an inside job, which, I mean, I think it was on an episode of Penn and Keller's Bullshit, but he made a pretty good point, which is like, how is 9/11 like not an insane, like amazing conspiracy? I mean, it's absolutely crazy what they did. Like, how is that not enough for you? It's like a bunch of people that were born and raised in the desert. They stole a plane. They stole several planes and crashed it into a building. Like, how is that not already just outrageous? Like, I just don't understand why
Why is it not enough?
Like, yeah, it's just... Yeah, I think it really is like, people...
You want the truth, man.
Yeah. It's like almost... I think it's almost like a comfort thing to believe that it can't just be an accident or a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, I think it kind of comforts people to at least know that there's an evil force behind it or something.
Right. Almost like it makes them feel better, or makes them feel safer that it was their own government.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah,
the thinking behind that is really bizarre to me. Like, I don't...
Well, the problem with it is there's some things to me, and I'm not a truther, or I'm not a 11 truther by any means, but there are some things that are just so weird that it does open the possibility, I think.
Yeah.
And as soon as there's like any opening, they'll run with it.
Yeah.
They'll fucking run for days with it.
Yeah, and
like building 7 falling is one of the weirdest things to me. That's like the only issue I have with 9/11 is building 7. Like the way it all went down. Pardon the pun. That was terrible.
Oh.
But like the way building 7 happened, it always makes me a little bit curious. but it doesn't mean that I'm out to like, oh, Building 7 proves it. No, Building 7 just is weird.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see much about Building 7?
I guess not really. I guess I don't know too much about that.
It fell later that evening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when you watch it, it looks like it was detonated. Like, purposely brought down.
Yeah. That is kind of weird.
But, like I said, it looks weird. It's a little, I don't know, it makes me feel uneasy about it, but I'm not saying that proves it was an inside job.
Yeah.
To me, it's one of the things I was saying, like, I don't think we'll ever know 100% either way.
Yeah.
But, like, to be so sure that it was an inside job is a little weird to me.
Yeah, it is weird. And, well, I mean, Osama bin Laden bragged about it, like, that day, so I believe Osama bin Laden.
Right. Of course, you could always go the other conspiracy that he was never an actual person.
Oh, yeah, he was a plant. They just planted him or something, like,
Yeah,
it was one of their own people or some such nonsense. Yeah, 9/11 truther. Yeah, that one bugs me quite a bit too.
but that's just like what we were saying. They're so sure of it. They're so sure that it was an inside job when they don't, like, their evidence wouldn't hold up in court.
Yeah, no, you're right. And like, because what's the basic idea behind that? Is that like the American government perpetrated it so that they could like do the Patriot Act and spy on us? Like, that's usually...
There's so many different reasons and so many different conspiracy theories as to why the government did what they did, supposedly.
Yeah,
like, I've heard one.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that's the funny part, is that even like the conspiracy people can't agree with each other. That's what really cracks me up.
I mean, kind of like religion. How many different sectors of Christianity are there? There's Catholics, there's Methodists, there's First Presbyterians and Jews, and how many different versions of the same story can there be?
Yeah. And then even in Northern Ireland, you got the Catholics versus the Protestants, and that's basically a war that they've been fighting for the last 100 years.
Just end it. Just realize there's no such thing as either one of the fairy tales and get along peacefully.
Well, that actually kind of reminds me of one thing I was going to bring up, which was, well, we're talking about Alex Jones as a crackpot, and another crackpot right-winger that you informed me about was Michael Savage.
Savage Nation.
Yeah. I was, that guy kind of pissed me off, because I was watching an interview he did with Larry King, and he said something that I've heard this before, and this just makes me furious, but he was talking about how we should outlaw Islam in the United States. And his point was that, look around the world. He straight up said that all terrorists are Muslims. And that is insane. That is just a ridiculous statement to make.
Yeah.
But
Savage, I feel like, is just well, like I said earlier, I think he's just a character. I don't think he actually believes half the shit he says.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't tell with a lot of these people.
I think he's an excellent salesman.
He is. I'll give him that. He is at least entertaining to watch.
Have you... I wanted to point this out. Did you watch in the background of any of his interviews?
I guess not. I don't think I did.
It's always a stack of his own books in the background.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had a whole thing written down about it, and then it just kind of flew in naturally. But I'm usually not that good at picking up subtle sales pitches, I guess.
Yeah.
But as soon as I noticed it, I watched all the other videos I'd already looked through, and it was like every single one of them has his own shit in the background, like no other books besides his own.
I have a hunch that those might be the only books he's ever read. Like, I only read my own books.
Believe it. Yeah, I'm that big of an arrogant prick. One video I watched, it had the Trump's war in the background. The next one I watched, it had another one of his books. Another video I watched was a different book. Like every single time I watched a video of Michael Savage, his own shit is in the background.
There's just something to be said about the shamelessness of that. I mean, I get it. You got to promote your books, but that just strikes me as pretty funny.
And it's not even like he's got one or two in the background. It's stacks and shelves of whatever the fuck book he just wrote.
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Yeah, he's kind of an interesting guy. But the thing he said about Islam was just ridiculous. And that got me into reading about the Lord's Resistance Army. I think they operate somewhere in Africa. I want to say the Congo or maybe Kenya. Have you heard of them?
A little bit, yeah. I don't know. I'm not too familiar, but I've heard of them.
Well, like, this is actually way more common than I thought. Like, people talk about terrorism, and they talk about religious fundamentalists, involved in terrorist activity. I rarely, if ever, hear about, some of these African groups. But the Lord's Resistance Army is they're pretty Christian and hardcore. And, I think within the last few years, they've been responsible for, about 500,000 deaths. And for some reason, no one really seems to discuss that. But, I was reading some article not too long ago. One of their big things is they rape dudes. Like, that's their, they'll go into a village, kill everyone, and then rape the men because that's, demasculating them. And
that'll do it.
Yeah, that would do it. And then, I was reading about how there's been a lot of incidences of cannibalism by the Lord's Resistance Army, and I don't know, it's just really interesting to me that nobody seems to bring these groups up. It's all Muslims' faults, I guess. I don't know.
It's almost like we have a bias in wanting there to be Muslim terrorism.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like one of those things where you wish hard enough and it'll become true.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, it sells headlines. You stay on one story long enough, it's big news. If you ignore a story long enough, it doesn't make it go away.
Yeah.
But it's not headlines.
Yeah. No, that's true. And, I think it's just 9/11, but I'm pretty sure that if 9/11 was perpetrated by Christian fundamentalists,
a bigger problem isn't the fact that there's not as much oil where the Lord's Resistance Army is.
Yeah, that is true.
We can't use it as an excuse to go get oil.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Again, I don't know much about it. I'm just looking it up for looking into it for the first time, but that would be my initial theory.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a 13-plus year war like we have now if it was somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no oil in Africa.
Which, in my opinion, it kind of gives the 9/11 truthers a little bit of fuel for their argument, really.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Unfortunately. Well, that's what you get when your government's corrupt as shit, is it just opens doors for conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, the government they do some pretty messed up stuff, but some of these conspiracies are just insane. But,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, because you mentioned how Africa, they ain't got no oil. But, this is an interesting thing that I think people should know about, which is, you know what blood diamonds are, right? When you get, so, I found out that, okay, so blood diamonds are actually, it's the government of the country that decides what is and isn't blood diamonds. So, I think it was in, Zaire, or it was one of the Central African countries, but they have a real messed up government, the government mines for diamonds, and they use slave labor and all that. But since the government itself is running it, then they're not considered blood diamonds, if that makes sense. Like, if the government gets to decide. So if it's the government doing it,
Right.
they could just say that they're not blood diamonds, and that becomes a fact. Like, pretty ridiculous.
Well, there's zero room for corruption there.
Yeah, exactly.
No way that can get corrupt easily.
No, diamonds are stupid anyway. You know that diamonds are actually not rare. Like, they're really not that rare at all. One of the and here's a good real conspiracy, was that the reason people get diamonds as gifts was because De Boers, they're one of the biggest jewelry companies in America, but it was around it was in like the 20s or 30s. So like De Boers made an aggressive marketing campaign about how you need to get your loved one diamonds or some shit, and like before that, nobody really cared. Like, De Boers is solely responsible for the popularity of diamonds, and it's just
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really funny. So they decided that you need diamonds, and everybody went along with it.
Isn't there something about by they, I mean just the diamond industry? They have a ton of them, but they only release them so often. So
Yeah,
like
that's-
the supply and demand is always there.
Yeah, see, that's actually another part of it. It's like De Boers, before, like around the time they were doing their marketing campaign, they ended up buying like a bunch of other jewelry businesses, and they ended up buying like a shitload of diamonds for the reason that you just said, for supply and demand. Because
They
diamonds are.
control how many go out.
Yeah. Because, like I was saying, they're really not that rare. Actually, if you wanted to give your fiance like a ring, I'd go with like a ruby or sapphire. Or actually, I think those actually are extremely rare, and those are worth money for a good reason. But diamonds are not.
Yeah, but your wife or your fiance would have to be on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're rare or not. I want a diamond.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very unromantic. I'd tell her that.
You'll get what I get you, and you'll like it.
That's right, ladies. Ladies, if you're listening, I'm single, so just don't expect any fucking diamonds.
And I tell it like it is.
Yeah. It's really because I'm just cheap. Like that's what it is.
That's what it all comes down to.
Oh my god, my dream girl would it would be so funny if I got her a diamond ring, but she sent it back because it's not a blood diamond. That's the type of lady I need. It's someone who will only wear blood diamonds.
Right. No one died for this? Take it back.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone didn't lose life, then is it really that valuable? I think not.
I want the blood still on it.
Oh my god, that'd be great. Or I got her a ring and it had a severed finger attached to it.
You have to remove the finger from the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how to treat a lady.
That's right. I got this for you.
Oh.
Well, back to Michael Savage.
Oh yeah.
Because of recent events, as far as violence goes and violent rhetoric, I'll have to find the actual video and link it on our website.
Mhm.
But he actually, literally, calls for violence.
Really?
Like it's not innuendo. It wasn't like you could take it wrong. He actually says it's a war. It's a civil war, and I'm sick of it. And he goes on to say, when are the Hell's Angels gonna get? How does he say it? When are the Hell's Angels gonna jump in the front lines and show those left-wing slime bags what fascism really looks like?
Wow.
Like he actually just comes out and says it, and it's okay for him to say it. But can you imagine if CNN
Oh god, yeah,
said
they
that?
would. the other news outlets would just bury him.
Right.
That's really irresponsible.
And it's never him. He never includes himself in it. He's never one to like put himself in harm's way.
Yeah,
it's got to be someone else.
Like that's a really dangerous and irresponsible thing to say, whether you mean it or not. Even if he is just doing a character, that's really irresponsible.
Right.
Should use. Was he talking about like protesters and stuff?
I think so. I think that's who he was referencing. To be honest, he was just so sporadic in that video I was watching. It was kind of hard to actually tell what the fuck he was like aiming at. Like, what do you want about, sir?
I mean, I get annoyed by protesters occasionally, but their right to protest is in the Constitution. Like, as long as it's peaceful and no one's fighting or rioting, then I don't see what the big deal is. You can have a counter-protest.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your right to do.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just...
But no, he calls on the Hells Angels to go show them what fascism looks like.
Yeah,
it's pretty swell.
He's trying to get biker gangs to do his bidding. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Besides, I'm sure the Hells Angels probably got like some meth to cook up or some guns to sell or something, so they're busy.
We're busy, Savage. Piss off.
So another thing I was gonna bring up was it was on that Larry King interview. He was talking about how it's okay if the government spies on you. Like Larry King was like, "Wait, are you serious about that?" And he was like doing the thing where he's dancing around the question and never actually answered it.
Yes. He misdirects so much.
Mm-hmm.
He never actually comes out and says yes or no to a question. It's always something totally irrelevant. Like, it's straw man central.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, you can't tell hands on it. Which just makes me think that he's just saying stuff to say it. Like,
right. He gets 1, 2, or 3 points, and then he just sticks to those two.
Yeah,
he
doesn't like elaborate or any of that. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, he was saying that. It was about how. Oh no, I know what it was. Do you remember like a couple months ago when Donald Trump was saying how Barack Obama put a wiretap in his house or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insanely idiotic. And then Michael Savage, of course, believes that. Like, he's, like the conspiracy thing, he's 100% sure that happened, despite the fact that there's literally no proof at all.
And if it was something that actually happened and Trump had the evidence for, he would, A, still be talking about it, and B, he would have shown the evidence.
Yeah. If you want people to believe you, show some freaking evidence. That's all you gotta do. Do that or shut up. Fucking Donald Trump is the goddamn worst at, like, he'll say something, and then his evidence is always like, "Oh, you'll see," or "Just trust
believe me."
Yeah, believe me, Barack Obama. And then I was just like, had the funniest image of like Barack Obama dressed in all black with like a ski mask going and personally putting a wire in his house.
They'll never see it coming.
Oh, I would love to see him and Joe Biden like doing Mission Impossible stuff.
And Joe Biden like hums the theme song.
Yeah. He's like,
Joe, you gotta stop.
Yeah. Joe, it's getting really annoying.
Dun, 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 dun. As he's walking, he's doing the song.
Yeah. He's lowering. They're crawling through the air ducts, and he's just like, boom, boom,
Joe, you gotta cut it out.
Joe, I need to quiet down.
Those memes were amazing.
The best thing to come out of like comedy-wise out of like the Obama administration is
the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Just as memes.
Oh, the Onion articles about Joe Biden are just so funny because like they write all these stories about how Joe Biden's a badass and like some of the photoshopping they did was just amazing. Like they had one of It was about Joe Biden trying to sell weed to high schoolers. And they photoshopped him like in like a jean jacket leaning against his Firebird.
Oh my god. And like what's so great about those is you can imagine like you can imagine them being an actual thing.
Yeah. One of the articles was about Joe Biden's all pissed off that states are legalizing marijuana because it's cutting into his business.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah.
I miss those two.
I think.
And for the record, I wasn't even that big of a fan of either one of them as far as politicians go, but just I miss those two for the memes themselves.
Yeah. I liked Barack Obama. I thought he was fine. I mean, naturally, anyone who's president, I'm never gonna fully agree with everything, but
yeah,
I thought he was fine.
Very true. He was nowhere near as terrible as some want you to believe he was.
Yeah. And really, like, the problem with his administration is since the Senate and the House were, like, majority Republican, which is usually how it goes. If you're got a Democratic president, it'll probably be... That's the troublesome thing about now, is that it's all Republican. But, like, people are always saying how he's, like, ineffective and he never got anything done. But that's because every time he tried to get anything done, he would just get railroaded by the Republicans.
Right. And that's the funny thing about now is that, well, I guess not really funny, but the ironic thing is you have Trump in the White House and Republicans control both sides of Congress.
Yeah.
And they're calling Democrats obstructionists, they're saying. It's like, how? You have the majority of both branches.
Yeah. Not only that, it's funny how it was fine when they were doing it. Like when they were...
And they have no problem being hypocrites, and neither does the fan base.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
And it's people like Michael Savage who just go up and spout their nonsense to sell their fucking books that keep it going.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, after watching, I think I watched about 4 or 5 different videos of Michael Savage being interviewed, and it's the fact that it's always his shit in the background. Just it totally, like... kills credibility to me.
Yeah.
Like, it is obvious that you're just doing this to sell your fucking book.
Yeah. It's pretty transparent that's what it's about.
Did I tell you about the autism thing?
Oh, no, you mentioned that, but yeah, no, what? Yeah, I gotta hear this.
He went on I'll have to find the videos for this too. But he says in 99% of the cases, it's a brat who hasn't been told to cut the act.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
That's what autism is. He then goes on to say, if I behaved like a fool, my father would call me a fool. If I behaved like a fool, my father would call me a fool. Yet this is the guy who supports Trump, who mocked a disabled reporter.
Yeah, right.
My favorite part of the rant, the worst thing he said, referring to his father, don't behave like a fool, don't be anybody's dummy, don't sound like an idiot, don't act like a girl, don't cry.
Wow.
And at that point, I was like, it felt more like he was having a bad flashback than actually talking about anything.
Yeah. He's going through his shitty childhood.
Yeah. And then he still goes on, that's what I was raised with. That's what you should raise your kids with. Stop with the sensitivity training. You're turning your son into a girl, and you're turning this nation into a nation of losers. And that's the point where I was taking down these notes, and I was like, this started out as an autism rant.
Yeah. It started out... it started out as an autism rant, like you said, and ended up him reliving his childhood traumas. His shitty dad.
Like, please buy my books.
And because Michael Savage is not a young guy. He's pretty old. And so he's talking about his fucking dad. And that was an era when they'd put gay people in asylums because it was a mental illness.
Right.
Like, they didn't know. Yeah, that just pisses me off. Like,
and it seems like he still has that mindset about him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we've just in the last, 20 years, we've learned so much about neuroscience and how the brain works.
Like there's still a lot to be learned, but what we have already, just in the last, like you said, the last 20 years is astounding.
Yeah.
What we've learned.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it than just stop being a pussy. Like that's what he's saying.
Right. Right. No, I watched that video probably like 4 or 5 times. I just could not believe he was saying what he was saying. Autism is just spoiled kids.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's really stunning. I don't really know what to say to that.
Right. There's not much, to be fair, there's not much you can say after that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not a mental condition. It's just a bunch of bratty kids.
Yeah, and I'm sure in some cases he might be right, but
Right. But to say 99% of the case,
yeah.
as if to say autism doesn't exist, yet this fucktard has a book called Liberalism is a Mental Disorder.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you're going to downplay autism as a mental disorder, but you're going to push liberalism as a mental disorder. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty fair.
Oh yeah, of course. I feel like psychologists might not agree with him, but that's just like that's such an awful thing. I've met plenty of people with autism, and I've met a lot of people with autism who literally cannot function in society.
Right. Nope. That's just a brat. It's just a kid throwing a temper tantrum for his entire life.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, cause I know this one. I know some chick, and she's got like autism, and yeah, like when in like public places, she just like shuts down completely. But now that I listen to Michael Savage's logic, I can tell her that she's just being a fucking sissy. I can tell her to suck it up.
Right. See, you learned today. Thanks, Michael Savage.
Yeah, if I said that to her, she'd punch me in the throat probably, and I wouldn't blame her one bit.
Right, exactly. But this guy gets to, say it on the radio every day.
Yeah. My God.
Well, the one thing I wanted to add, he's very strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he'll identify someone that may oppose his views, and he'll vilify the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like he pretty much calls them, like he'll call liberals the enemy.
That is ridiculous.
And like all that does is create more division.
Yeah.
Amongst us down here that don't have our own radio shows.
Right.
Like it doesn't really brainwash people, but it puts that in their brain that liberals are the enemy. So that if anybody can try to counter a point, if you've heard Savage and you believe what Savage is saying, you're just going to write them off for being wrong. Because Savage was like, liberals, it's a mental disorder, and they're the enemy. Don't listen to them. It's like, it doesn't allow any rational thought whatsoever.
No, not at all. And like you said, it just divides people. When you refer to an entire group of people as the enemy, just for thinking, like you're dehumanizing them. You're making it sound like, they're not real people, so nothing that they say matters. Right.
So take nothing what they say seriously.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about. You're right. They're wrong. End of story.
Yeah. That's when you say shit like that. That's what you're doing, and it's not helping anything. Like you can't solve things with a conversation if you're just gonna let people know up front that they're the enemy. It's only going to make them defensive, and then you're just worse off than you were before.
Yep, and he does it every day on his fucking show.
Oh, yeah, that is just, that's pretty frustrating.
Or in his ridiculous little books. By the way, I should say that many years ago, like we've talked about this, I think our first episode, I was Christian. I was conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to this guy on my car ride to work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I'm not just speaking from an asshole's point of view. I was actually on board for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of his books. I've read it, and it's trash. It's literally just him spewing off hate and everything is about Marxists, everything is about liberals, and that's what I was trying to find. I can't find the actual quote, so I have to paraphrase. I'll try to find the video and link that too.
Yeah.
But he actually said that Obama has done more damage to the world than Lenin and Stalin put together.
Wow.
Like, if I could find the actual quote, I'd feel so much better about that.
A pretty goddamn ridiculous thing to say. They killed 50 million people, so I think he's a little off.
Right.
I think he's a little off base on that statement.
Yeah. Yeah. The damage he's done is worse than Stalin and Lenin put together.
And I suppose he didn't have any facts or examples to back that up.
No.
That is pretty ridiculous. Like, to be that far on one side is illogical. It's not. You're not making any progress. And
you've officially gone. When you see shit like that, you've officially wiped out any facts.
Yeah.
You've totally just you've undone any type of credibility I can give you. When you say stupid shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. It just, I don't really understand the hatred for liberals like that. Because I mean,
well, to me, I think Trump is doing a terrible job, but I would never make a claim that he's doing worse than Hitler and Mao.
Right? Yeah, that's absurd.
Until he actually does round up people and put them in concentration camps and kill 50 million people. Until he does that, he's just doing a bad job.
Yeah.
He's not worse. He's not worse than these insane people.
Right. Yeah.
I'll find that quote and I'll link it in to our website. Because I feel like a complete douche for bringing it up and not having the actual quote.
Oh, that's all right. But I said this on one of our last ones, but conservatives, to me, that is, it's not logical. By definition, conservative means that you don't want anything to change. You want to keep it the way it is, and that's not how society ever works.
Right. You should always take in new information, consider new sides to a new angle, and adjust from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we've advanced to where we're at. That's how science works.
Right, exactly.
New information. That's another thing. One of the things that pisses me off about politics so much is people will be in a debate, and then one of them will say something like, they'll accuse them of flip-flopping on issues, like, oh, well, 15 years ago during your speech, you said this, and now you're saying that.
Yes.
That drives me so crazy.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. For one thing, it shows that you're human.
Right.
And that's what I want out of politicians, is the ability to admit you were wrong, or at least maybe admit that, you didn't have all the right information before, or just things change. And
I mean, I get where they're coming from. I know that they can use the argument, well, they were pro this until they saw the polls, and then they had to change their views to match, the people, whatever. But what if someone just they thought one thing and then saw more evidence for the other side and went, oh yeah, that makes way more sense than what I used to believe in. I'm going to go ahead and jump ship and go to where the truth is. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
And I just don't understand, why is that a problem in society? That's just ridiculous. People change. The world changes.
It might be possible that people themselves haven't changed enough. People themselves haven't challenged themselves on certain issues.
Yeah.
So they can't relate to someone changing their mind. They've had the same mindset since they were 10.
Right.
So if someone changes their mind, it looks bad to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they just don't. Yeah, they're just unwilling to change. I think that's stupid. If you do or do not vote for a politician just because of that, like,
Right.
then you're an idiot, basically.
Yeah. There's no nice way
Yeah.
to say that. That's the truth. He flip-flopped 10 years ago, so can't vote for him now.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about like myself 15 years ago. There's probably, like, as far as issues go, there's probably not a lot I would agree with myself on, like, from 15 years ago.
Oh, for sure. I'm the same exact way. There's some, for sure, but when you've thought about key issues and what it means and why you should think this versus that, or what effect this has on that topic,
Yeah.
it's easy to change your mind if you find you were wrong.
Yeah, it's progress. It's just weird to me that progressive is such a bad word to, like, conservatives.
That's a scary word.
Progress. Yeah.
Well, this whole healthcare debate too. I've heard so many from the conservative side saying healthcare is not a right. Healthcare is not a right. First off, prove it. Prove
Right.
that it's not. Secondly, who says it's not a right? Because it's not in the Constitution about healthcare, which didn't exist when they wrote the Constitution. There was no such thing as health insurance
Right.
back
That's
then.
like saying, well, the Constitution doesn't say anything about seatbelt laws because there were no cars, dummy.
Right. Dumbass.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
maybe it's not a right in the sense that our forefathers didn't see into the future to know about health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean we can't do the right thing now.
Right, yeah. And, like, for one thing, we're probably about the only industrialized nation that doesn't have some sort of universal health care.
I think we are the only one.
I actually think you're right about that. I think pretty much every industrialized nation in the world has some sort of health care. And here's another thing. This is just what I have a huge problem with this. Where the hell are the Christians on this? Like, helping people who can't help themselves is pretty much, like, that pretty much sums up all of Jesus' teachings.
Right.
And yet,
Right.
they're the ones that are so anti-healthcare. Like that's what. How could you call?
I can't wrap my head around that one.
Yeah. How could you call yourself?
I've tried.
Yeah. How could you call yourself a good Christian, and in the same breath be like, well, they're just lazy. They need to get jobs. I don't want to help them. Like, that's the exact opposite of what being a good Christian is about.
But the thing is, if they have insurance now, they're doing the same thing. They're paying for other people too. That's what insurance is.
Yeah, that is exactly it. Like, yeah.
You're paying into something, so like it's a big pool of people that are paying money into the pool, and if one of us needs to use it, one of us gets to use it because we've been paying into it.
Yeah.
That's insurance. What the fuck is the difference?
Exactly. It's just, yeah.
I don't want to pay for other people. You already do.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that is. Well, I'm a good God-fearing Christian, but I don't want to help.
I'm not going to help someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very Jesus-y.
Yeah, very Jesus-y, guys. Good job.
Well, that pretty much sums it up right there.
Yeah.
Pretty much sums up all religion.
Right, yeah.
In general. Jesus said this, I don't wanna, so I'm not gonna.
Right, yeah. It's just remarkable how people really can just pick and choose, and at the same time judge you for not sharing their.
I feel like that could go down for another hour of conversation in that avenue.
Yeah.
But I reckon we've said quite a bit already.
I think so. I probably, man, I'm leaving in 2 days and I haven't packed anything, so.
So you got a little bit of work to do, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot to close it out on this episode.
Yeah. Responsibility time.
I'm going to post links to the videos we've discussed today on our website, so if you're interested, head over to churchofatheism.xyz. If you've enjoyed listening to the podcast so far, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, or any of those other fun, happy, nice things you can do for us. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.